All right. Welcome. This is Dynasty the podcast show, and I'm your host Ira Bush. Today's title is Balmy Point of View. So basically, today, I really don't have, how do I explain it? I don't have much to like say or do about what's going on, anything, but we will be reviewing. We will be getting into, I say more detail or just like making sure people remember what the goal is for me speaking. The goal is for me doing this whole podcast show and just gearing up for just the summer, just to keep the kids, and everybody gonna be doing their own thing. Everybody gonna be trying to, if you're a young teen, you probably gonna want to get a summer job, and if you are a teen and you want to be in camp, or the younger kids graduating elementary, going into middle school, they're gonna be anxious about going into a new line of education. Same with the people graduating high school. It's going to be something completely different that they haven't seen. So, I suggest those people graduating, just now finished graduating, that you go do summer classes. It's the better way to transition into, being a young adult, being out by yourself, or, if you're leaving home, or even if you're doing community college, it's a better way to transition to be disciplined and understanding the freedom you have and making sure you want to be a student still. So that's all I can say. But I just want to say I'm just thankful and grateful just for being alive and having health and understanding. Having that real. I don't know everything, but having that real getting enough information to know how important it is at a young age to try your best to be healthy. And I try my best every day to remember that I still like to eat, whatever. But I don't eat as bad. I still eat chips and drink a soda every now and then. But I try to balance it out with water and being mindful is very important as well. Um, I have to always remember my reason to why I want to do this. My child, the children, my family, my nieces and nephews, and the people that I've trained and coached over the years, and just being that consistent role model. And I'm not like saying I've been like this model citizen. I'm not going out here trying to be that, but I am challenging the improper authority that's going on and that has went on. So that's my main thing. I have to strive to continue to be a real leader. I don't say I'm a perfect leader or anything, but I have to strive to be a leader. I have to be a leader of my family. So, that's what the things that my mindset is and how I'm gonna, really go about being myself and being who I am and who I'm trying to form myself to be. I haven't the main thing is like making sure, being that I have young children to make sure people don't take advantage of this system and how they go to school, and then it's like I always spoken on several times about how people are in these positions and they want to take advantage of a child spiritually and be manipulative. I don't That's the thing that I have to be in place for. So once they get older, I'm gonna be able to travel a little bit more, be able to share more experience, being experienced in different states, different countries, and be even more boisterous about what's going on. So we still in the beginning stages. It's stuff that I have to work on in this state and in the states, and make sure I have that platform and keep elevating. And so I have real goals. So that's all it is. Um, you know, I got to make sure I get my mother and my grandmother in a better position that they in. They're not in a bad position, but I want them to be more comfortable. I spoke with my mom earlier today, so I know she's still a little bit disappointed in just me having the financial resources available to me. But it's not all. She warned me about how they treat black men. The older you get, it's not going to get easier. So I know it's not going to get easier. But this is one of the reasons I will be changing it. Just speaking up, and I am working on some stuff. There's so many people that look like me that went against me. So I have to, and there's still people out there that's ignorant enough to not understand that people have put stuff in they lap and put stuff in a position of rank and authority just to sell me out. So I have to get over them humps. And some of it was internal, some of it was just me being in the place of like the state of Florida, and people want to compete with me, and they still might be trying to compete with me, but I'm in my own lane, and I definitely been doing my own thing. I never been one of these people to be on another man's trail or been in another man's pocket. I never seen that as a way to win. So if you're a loser in life, you're gonna stay a loser in your life, and that ain't my business. So that's all I can say on that. Now today we have, like I said, I'm not. I broke down to you what this title of this show and stuff like that. I'm on. I said TikTok yesterday. I try to keep it under an hour again. But I'm in like a mood where I just gotta review what's going on. Yes, today it was. I'm not gonna play any clips or nothing out, so it should be a shorter show. But we're gonna spend a little bit of time breaking down these certain things. Now it says, yes, today I woke. I don't really do the news and nothing like that. I do the clips and what's important to whatever the world is saying, and then I just trickle back down to what my everyday and what I was kind of speaking on my everyday life, and my mind frame and just how things still are not in full place. I'm still unsatisfied. When I say I'm operating in like a 10 to 15, 10 to 20% of what my full abilities are, that's really what it is. I don't have a facility. People have stumped on my nonprofit business just with the assault and the defamation of my character, which I've spoken on several times, just because their son or daughter is not at the level that I'm at and didn't earn the stripes I did as a coach. They wanted to stump on my existence. So I had to recalibrate. Same with the person that I had a child with. They all was in cahoots. So it's just like I had to gear toward, and it was people that I graduated with. They was jealous and they wanted to have the limelight, and it's a lot of warfare going on in that realm. With the females having a lot of control of the voice and the people. So you have to overcome these things. And I'm not like, I come from a family of strong females, so I know I'm going to overcome these things. That's what I do know. It was already set for me to be mindful of that attack. So that's not never going to be an issue for me to overcome these things. I have a strong group of men that's in my family. We all want to be successful in our own lane. So that's not an issue neither. It might not be as many as other people, but we all have intelligence. We all know how to lean on each other when it's time. And like I tell them all the time, you just hit me up. I'm game for especially if it's something big. I'm definitely gonna be ready. My shoes are tied up, and I'm ready to go. So like I said, we all went through things. There ain't nobody perfect. So that's pretty much how it is. Now back to what I was saying. With we're gonna start off with the political side. The straw man story today, Trump versus Elon. I'm gonna just say it like this: no one cares about the fake beef between Elon and our president. The only people Elon helps is the whites with money, and that's what Trump. That's why Trump put him in the limelight and supports him. I don't have time for people like that. There's so many people who actually need resources. There's so many people who, I understand what the social security card is. I understand how generational wealth is passed down. These people have attacked my mother, my father, my grandfathers, both on both sides. I cannot explain to you how much people want. I didn't know at the time, I had to learn over time, but they had already attacked generations ahead. So my understanding of this social of, they told us, the social, you usually supposed to work 5 years and re-up. When they first made them, it was only designed for these people to make us work 5 years and to service the people and get our house in acres. But they has completely changed. And like I said, they made this constitution where everything was going to be equal when you get freed, or blah blah blah, or whatever nonsense they made with the natives. And they definitely enslaved Africans when they lied to these people and these kings when they went over there to infiltrate them and poison their whole. They tried to poison, and they had to create war to even poison. That's how they poisoned Africa. And then they infiltrated the small villages and all that. you know, if you do history, I gotta go over there and I gotta do more research, but I'm pretty sure I know enough to just break down that to you. And I talk about these things in very small spurts. I don't know enough information, but I know the surface of what it is. That information has been out. And I don't know how much more I need to go into deep, but I will eventually get there. I'm in my young stage of, you know, I always was infatuated with history. I always infatuated with the world of animals and how things are moved, the ebbs and flows of the earth and the world. I never been that, you know, that bougie and narrow minded to not understand that these things are kind of more important. It's a tree outside that's more important than me. So, you know, I could have 100 ancestors sitting up there looking at me if I'm doing the correct thing, if I'm speaking correct. So you never know what's going on in the world if you so stuck on that dead note, or you trying to steal resources out of the earth, and you being greedy and you being nasty. These billionaires sitting up here looking at people like they're better than us because they're white. No, you stole that. You stole a billion just to get that 100 billion. So it's okay to give back 50 billion, like you said you was. You know, and I ain't dissing nobody. That's what somebody said out their mouth. So, you know, at the end of the day, and then it's like it's so many easy ways. Like when you get that social to even let people start off with $1 million, you know, boom, you got $1 million credit. Go be successful. If you end up in prison, you got to give half of it back. I don't know what they want to come up with, but you can easily just a number. You know, whatever your number say, that's how much you're worth. I don't know. It's a 9-digit number. Everybody can have this much money in the United States of America, but they want people to be subjugated to listen to stupid people go on and on and on and on and on and on about nothing. And there's so much resources. There's technology everywhere. But like I said, the straw man stories, I don't have time for that. I don't care about that story today. Let's go back to what is really important. Now let's get back to the stuff that we've been talking about over this past time. Now, it says, this is what I'm going to read what I wrote down. It says, I need daily updates on how, okay, what is going on with the tariffs? This crash dummy has sanctioned all these different countries. Now, that's my statement on it. He done did all this tariff and blah, blah, blah. They get mentioned 2 seconds every day. But what I need from this guy is daily updates on how it affects all 50 states, all the cities and towns in these 50 states. I need to see the governors, the senators, mayors, councilmen, and councilwomen stepping up to see how the money and the tariffs is affecting us as people. I don't want to hear shit about, I don't want to hear nothing about no Elon Musk and Trump. We was hearing about Putin and his stupid in the Ukraine and the war, and then we hear about $100 billion, blah blah blah. I don't want to hear that. You already done canceled and blocked off several different countries that's helping the people. So what I don't want to hear is your stupid reason of why you mad or why you upset today. Nobody cares. I don't care if you're going golfing tomorrow. No one cares. So move along. Find what I just said is more important than anything. Another thing. Now, after that, after your governors and senators and the councilwomen step up, all I hear is crickets in these situations. They need solutions. Now, let's talk about what about the dismantling of the education system that you made world breaking news 50 days ago? How are the real teachers, the professors, the deans, the principals, and all the other employees, has it affected? Nobody talking about that. It's summertime. These meetings get canceled all the time. I've seen several meetings get canceled in Palm Beach and Broward. I don't know what's going on with Pinellas. I'm gonna get on y'all head by end of Friday. I don't play about where I'm born because I know that affect me too. I got several family members still there. Same with Pasco. Same with the Spring. I got family in Spring Hill that's very important to me, and in the middle of Orange County. So all that matters. So what's going on? God is gonna get affected. Hillsborough County as well. People talking about cutting Medicaid, Medicare. My grandmother, people attacked her very, grandfather, Purple Heart Soldier. Y'all get the picture. Y'all talking real reckless right now. So all this stuff need to be daily news. I don't care about Elon. I don't care about Trump. These people are billionaires. Now trickle some of that money out your pocket and figure it out for people who already served us. And matter of fact, I want my house and my mule still. Like, what's going on? So let's continue. That's the main reason why I'm a little agitated is because I'm like they change the tune of what's going on every day. They change it every day. So I don't want, and then I'm not talking about the people. When it comes to the dismantling the education system, I don't want to hear about these third person silent investors who don't care about the safety and well being of the students. Which you all can go back to all my shows that I spoke on about what's really going on in them schools. I'm not talking about them people that got the money and they out here selling out souls for the trying to harness energy from these children, the chosen people that's next up to dethrone all this wicked, evil stuff. I'm on their side. I don't care how old they is. I'm on their side. Whatever they tell me to serve and do, that's what I'm. That's why I'm back on the court. That's why I'm back on the field. That's why I'm finna put it on your neck. And it's gonna be very powerful what I speak to them when I'm out there on the field court. And I ain't talking about no fake holy Bible either, because I gotta research more of that. So we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get back to it. And that's pretty much it. Now, yesterday, unfortunately, this is gonna be a 30 minute show. I'm not trying to stay here too long. I started late. I had something to do early this morning, so everybody got regular lives. But I definitely know what I'm supposed to do when I speak. And unfortunately, I did not get to go to the meeting in Broward County, the council meeting, the town meeting in Pompano. Like I said, my child is living there. It's a whole, I could tell y'all 100 reasons. Like the main thing is, I don't want to sound like a complaining about spiritual warfare, but it's so much energy put towards me not. I went home to eat lunch, and all I can say is they went extra hard to make sure I go to sleep after. So I went to sleep. I didn't drive. I could have asked for a ride. I could have went and got a ride. But it's when I'm on a personal mission to protect my daughter, to protect my niece and nephews. That's what it is. Everybody don't have the same vision as me. My vision gonna stay as clear as it's been since I've been a child. Since I've been my original people who taught me what it is important, and what I obtained just being from age, I'm gonna say from age 7 to 12. Before, from age 5, when I was in kindergarten, 4 years old to 12 years old, my grandmother, my teachers, my coaches at the centers, and my best friends, what I'm saying, the people that was around me before I moved out of my county. Those are the people that's still what I am today. So, and as well as my close cousins, that we were very tight knit. I went and visit every week, seeing them every weekend, every other. My dad, all that matters. All that it's combined into that. So that's what I'm trying to get back and stay informed. I don't got time for this fake. Like I said, ain't no AI, ain't no technology. I don't need no robots out here. We talk about all this stuff, artificial intelligence, fake intelligence, fake knowledge. We don't need that. That's overtaking the people's minds, and it ain't gonna never overtake minds until they reincarnate me and throw my ashes in, wherever my dad's ashes at. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna got to get right on all these things. And I'm never gonna, my voice gonna live forever. I'm putting it on. It's already on wax. So I'm not really. I never been. I don't spoke too much life. I've spoke enough life, and to everybody, I'm gonna keep it speaking life. I try to use my words wisely, and that's pretty much it. And like I said, I'm gonna be there. It wasn't nobody's fault. I put full blame on why I didn't come. So he said I was just mentioning how much energy was spent trying to make me not go to the meeting. So, it's gonna happen June 10th. Definitely ain't meet that. I'll be in Broward the whole day. I don't care if the meeting at 6. I'll be there the whole day. 6 a.m. I will be there. I won't say 6. I'll be there by 7 a.m. in Broward County. And wherever the meeting at, I'll be there. So I'll be there. I'll be eating ice cream. I'll be hanging on the beach. If the meeting in the evening, it's gonna be, I'm be there. So it's cool. And that's pretty much it. I don't want to get too, whatever it is. And I'm happy this is gonna be a shorter meeting, but like I said, reviewing all those things, I ain't listening to, none. When I see that be the headline of the day, and cut back to what we've been talking about. So and make sure you listen to this one. You better go review them other ones, and then you go review some more. Get some books, get some knowledge. Go talk to your council people. Go talk to your mayors. I got to call Pat Pinellas tomorrow. I'm calling the mayor's office. They still out here trying to give me a $15 job through a whole service. They need to give me a real job over there before I can come back home and do something. Or, I'm not gonna hate on them. I don't really want to go back. I ain't gonna care. I tried that too many times. People done messed up the county. People done went and built the whole. They still over there trying to build downtown. They done seek the life out of the county. And it's getting a little bit better. I got to check into the sports teams over there, see if I want to help the school board and these football teams for a couple more years, and still contemplating just going right back into trying to do a prep team, whether it's football or basketball. So I'm trying to see about these resources for real. So people want to be me. They try to, I helped a couple people. They might probably dropped the ball already with their fraudulent selves. But hey, more power to them. Hopefully they fight that fraud case. So what I'm saying? Like, I look at it like that. I don't really look at it as a loss. I tried several times to really get in with people. They really don't have the motion to win. And every time I come in the building, it's winning season. And that's pretty much how it goes. It ain't never been a loser. I ain't never had a loser mindset. And I just look at it like that. Now, into the fun things. Sports. I did not get to watch. It was 5 WNBA games. I only watched the Lynx. I only watched the Storm and the Lynx. It was a very entertaining game. The Storm, they're very talented, but they turned the ball over too much against a very disciplined, one of the better coaches in the WNBA, if not the best coach in the WNBA. I forgot her name, but I'm a big fan of hers. She won with, since Maya Moore was there, and they got a new batch of superstars over there at the Lynx. And the girl who played for New York, I forgot her name. Her last name is Williams. She had a great game. She had like 23, 21 points. She was with Liberty last year. Liberty still stacked. They won last night. They both teams, Lynx and Liberty, are undefeated. I didn't watch all of the Liberty game. That was a 7:00 game. I was back and forth. But I watched most of this game. I watched pretty much the Lynx and the Storm game. Then I tried to watch the Sparks game and the Chicago. They was playing at the same time, and I fell asleep on both. So I didn't even, I don't even know if Chicago won. I know the Sparks. I don't even know any team. I went to sleep. So those are all the games are entertaining. That was the most entertaining game. I think Storm probably got a little bit more talent, but the Lynx definitely are way better. Like, when I say like the coach know how to win any kind of battle, like she don't do too much. She's not trying to overshow her hand early in the season. It's just one of those, she let the hottest hand finish the game out, kind of, just giving her the rock. She didn't really show too much. They superstar player who almost, I don't know if she won. She might have won the MVP last year. But she didn't have the most points. But it was just like a team game. Everybody shared the ball. Everybody definitely was 10 turnovers in the first quarter or something like that. It was, it was just one of those games where the Storm didn't play their best. But they fought back. It was still ended up being a close game. So I know the Storm will have a great just talented wise, they have a great team. So we gonna the NBA. Okay. Yesterday I watched WNBA. So the NBA, the Indiana versus the Knicks, I did not get to watch, but Indiana went up 3-1. Tyrese Halliburton had a triple-double. Triple-double was 32, 12, and 15. That's really big for the superstar stepping up. Bitch, he had help the game before, but he came back to form and he dropped 32 point triple-double in Eastern Conference Finals, and that's big. They set them up they up 3-1 now. I think they could have swept the Knicks. I think the Knicks are just young. I think Karl Anthony Towns, I don't think he's immature. I just think he's more of a second tier with one tier talent. And I think Jalen Brunson, he's not the biggest guy. He's a defensive liability on a lot of the times when you get a triple-double, 32 points, and you down 3-1, you might be the liability at that point, which is Tyrese Halliburton exposed that. And that's really what his problem is. He could drop 35 to 40 every night. And, he get a lot of calls. He pushes off. He's tenacious, got heart. I think if they lean on Mikal Bridges a little bit more, the Knicks will be more, not really like, sometimes doesn't know when he's gonna get the rock. So that's what it seems like to me for him. And he be a little bit inconsistent. But if you focus your point on that 2-3 guard and make him call more plays like he did in Brooklyn when he played for the Nets, I think they would have better outcomes. Even just him just being a focal point as the guard in that system. I think they want Jalen Brunson to be the focal point, but that comes with the coach being a defensive minded coach and not really seeing what I see and just making somebody like Tyrese Halliburton play both ways, and Mikal Bridges sitting in the corner just shooting a three. He's way more than that. He could run point more. Jalen Brunson need to be on the wing more. He need to be shooting three sometimes. 25 minutes of the game, a focal point, just having that, a bigger lineup, all kind of stuff I'll be looking at, and just, that two-man pick and roll with him, Karl Anthony Towns. He could drop 30. He could drop 30. Brunson could drop 25. Boom, you got almost 100 points right there. And I'd be looking at it like that, but I don't know what they be seeing. The way my mind works, it's so basketball is only 5 players. Football is 11. So I look at basketball, I'm like, the floor, the players are the players. I'm not missing shit as a coach. And I'm like, my matchups will be so much different. So I look at it like size and speed, quickness, defense, everything one in one. So, they maybe need those type of points pointed out. I don't know if they need help on that. I don't know. These coaches been around a while, but I do think Indy has the better coach. And, that's pretty much it. Now, tonight's game, Timberwolves versus the OKC Thunder. They up 3-1. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the reigning MVP. He won MVP this year versus one of the youngest superstars, top 3-4 in the league. Most people consider him as definitely top 3. It's a lot of talented players. He still got to win a championship. I never consider the top player in the league to somebody who has not won a championship. They might have won MVP, but the best player who won the championship, LeBron, still dropped 25, 8 and 8. I don't know what changed. He didn't win this year, but he won a lot of championships and been to a lot of championships. And I'm a Lakers fan, so I'm a little biased, but like I say, SGA win one, he'll be considered the best. Giannis has fallen off a lot. He didn't, Dame Lillard, him have not panned out to win the championship. He won one without Dame Lillard. I'm pretty sure it was right before he came. He got traded in the middle of the year after, and all that stuff like that. Giannis fell off a little bit. He's still probably considered top 3 in the league with LeBron, him. Then you got SGA. Then you got Edwards, and you got Karl Anthony Towns over there. Then you got Halliburton, who's going crazy, finna go to the finals. Got the best coach in the league, still in the playoffs. I won't say league. He probably will be considered in the league if he won the championship. He's been around a long time, so that's pretty much it. I got the T-Wolves winning tonight. It's still a tough, SGA still got to go against a very tough team. I don't know they in the finals, NBA Western Conference Finals, so they probably gonna push it to 6 games. I don't see it going past 6, but it is a home game. I think it might be away. It might be away. I don't know how to structure the It might be a away game for OKC. So if it's a away game, I definitely see T-Wolves winning, and and that's pretty much how. If it's back in Oklahoma, then it's gonna be a toss up. It's gonna be that home crowd is very dangerous. It's all it's everybody against you except the 5 people on the court when you're in Oklahoma. So it's gonna be tough. That's pretty much it. I was gonna speak on just I got okay. I'm gonna lead sports. Sports is sports. Like, and then again, I'm gonna start back. I'm gonna coach basketball. We got our first this weekend. It's coming up. We got little tryouts. We get to pick draft our teams after the tryouts. So I'm lit and happy about that. I'm gonna be playing. Me and my nephew gonna be on the same. I'm coaching him for real this time. I coached him when he was 4, and then this is his first year back on the court. So he played with 6-year-olds, and now he's gonna be playing on his, against 9 through 12-year-olds, which he's pretty, he got pretty good height on him already, Man, his genetics read. His mom was a very high level basketball player. She only played the high school and flag football player. He gonna be all right in sports, So I'm happy about him. This gonna be, and he shoot from three already, pretty accurate. So and it's with a regular basketball. So when he played with his size basketball, his size height of a rim, if they putting the rim down, it's gonna be good for him because it's gonna look so the rim gonna look bigger. And I know how we used to play. We used to practice with a regular goal, and then boom, we I ain't never really played with a rim down, except when we had the goals in our front yard. And your accuracy will be way better in your front yard. But it's good. He's finna play constructive again, and I'm happy to be able to be his head coach, and it's gonna be fun. Now, my real goal is I want to find a real community, whether it's here, whether I leave during after the summer. But I gotta get back on the field. If I don't get back on the field, I'm gonna be back on the field. But I gotta get back on it. I'm hyped about that because everybody know what it is when I'm back on the field. It's lit. The littest. We're gonna have the best position, best coach, well coached. My knowledge of the game does not lack in nothing. So I'm happy about football. I'm happy about just being able to coach basketball, getting the opportunity. I don't care how small and big people might think it is. I'm a big basketball fan. I didn't get to play high school because I chose football, y'all know what I like to talk about, politics. I never really felt like I needed to play football as much. I always looked at it as, am I going to get to the biggest level? No. But what I do get the biggest level? This, speaking about real life and being an influence to the world. So that's what I chose. Now, thank y'all for listening. I appreciate y'all. This is Dynasty, the podcast show. I'm your host, Ira Bush. Now, thank y'all for listening. I'll see y'all tomorrow.